So this is an example of how to use the writing think sheet. Again, the idea behind the sheet is to get you to think about your writing and how you could improve it. Using the steps at the beginning is only the first part. It's really the questions at the end that you want to be able to look at and allow them to prompt you to rethink what you have written so far. You'll notice that not every writing think sheet is the same. This one, as opposed to one you've used in the past, talks about adjectives and is going to ask you to do some things about adjectives and also similes and metaphors. But you'll see that this is similar to other writing think sheets you've seen that asks you to count the number of words in the question and put that in the last chart. So the way we work with this sheet is, so we're going to look at our piece of writing and we're going to read as we go, and we're going to take the pieces, the adjectives for this first column. We're going to take the adjectives and we're going to actually write them in this column. You'll notice that I have gone ahead and highlighted some of the adjectives along the way through this little excerpt that I have written. I do that because it would just take too long to read it. But I want to go back to the writing think sheet and do what the think sheet is asking you to do. This is the first sentence, the second sentence, the third sentence, the fourth sentence, and I have an adjective winter. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put winter in there. So the seventh has old and stealthy. Old, stealthy. I'll go back here. The 9 has childhood and safest, warmest, most caring. And so you can continue on all the way through.
After the recording of adjectives in this column, you'll see I've added numbers here for each of the sentences. And we're going on to the second column, which is similes and metaphors. And that's really only if you find those in a sentence. Flipping back to the piece of writing, down here, I think this is the, 11th or 12th sentence. I've highlighted in green, like the folds of a large blanket. And so I will put that in here. Let me check one more time where we are. Pale and wrinkly is pale. So, like the folds of a large blanket. I think it's the 15th sentence. Like moths around a candle. Like moths around a candle. Then if we continue to look down, 25th is like crinkling plastic. So now I've added columns and I'm going to put into this place like crinkling plastic.
The last thing the writing think sheet asks you to do is to count the number of words in each sentence and put that number in this column. So I've begun to do that. I'm on the 5th sentence here, so I need to flip back in. And it's the one that I've highlighted. So I'll count the words. I'll flip back. I'll add 35 in there, and then I'll move on and finish the entire thing.
So once you've completed the chart, then you go down and you finish the questions, looking first at column 1 and then at column 2 and then eventually at column 3. And the questions are designed to get you doing some thinking about what it is you have written and could you improve it. So what I'd like to do is, well, how many adjectives? So I could count those. If I only have a few, could I find places where there are more adjectives? More adjectives could go. And yeah, I think there could be a few places in it that I could add some adjectives. I think in this particular place right here, so within its pages lies power, I would think if I added unfathomable power, that would also be really helpful in terms of understanding the type of power that would come in that particular place. The other thing we're going to notice is that if we look in the think sheet, I see old many times, and I'm wondering if there are times when I could change that to have some other word to make it more effective. I'm going to add in here decrepit. So an old decrepit lady. I might change this one here. I'm going to make it an ancient woman. And maybe I would also change this one here. I'm going to change that to octogenarian, which means somebody over 80. That's changed some of my adjectives. Now I can go back and change them in my writing think sheet, but really what I want to do is go to the bottom of the writing think sheet. So I'm going to add in here that I changed 3 old to other adjectives. And that is essentially the point of this sheet. You'll do the same thing with column 2 in terms of the similes and metaphors, and record your changes down here. Hopefully, this allows you to think about your writing and make some positive changes that you can incorporate in further writing as you continue through grade 9.